Today we went outside near a busy road and recorded some dialogue so we can show you that there are 3 elements to getting pro level sound on set. You want to have the right microphone choice, good wind protection, and the correct technique used. Each piece of the puzzle plays its own part in getting good sound that the others can't do alone. Choosing the right microphone with the correct polar pattern can help you separate the dialogue from the background and unwanted noise. Choosing the right level of wind protection can make sure that you're not getting wind bumping up against your sensitive microphone, and then the correct technique can make sure that those things are glued together and that you're pointing your microphone in the right direction, not just at the subject, but away from the thing that you don't want to hear. Finally, of course, it's good to have the extra gear like a great recorder and good accessories. But with these 3 main elements, you're gonna get a good sound most of the time no matter what you're using. All right, so we're outside the office and we've got noise in every direction. You can see the road, you can see the river behind it. We've got wind shooting in our faces. We have currently the highest level of wind protection on, which is a blimp and then a dead cat over that. And I know you can see our boom operator here. That's not standard. We just want to show you what it looks like. So obviously you're going to hear cars, you're going to hear the river, you're going to hear the wind. We can't really take out the elements. It's just our job to get the best dialogue on top of them. In post, we can do things like cleaning out the background, or if it just sounds good enough like this, we'll leave it that way. So our goal is to get very clear dialogue that you can understand over the background. First, we have our boom operator with the blimp and the dead cat over that, facing towards the highway, and this is what it sounds like. The director jumps over the crooked creek. The director jumps over the crooked creek. When you're listening to these takes, don't just focus on the level of wind protection, but the technique that the boom operator is using. He's going to be facing different ways with different things behind him and in front of him, and then always focusing it on the speaker. The director jumps over the crooked creek. 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 We just took the dead cat off of the blimp, so you're going to hear a little bit more wind noise. You'll be the judge. The director jumps over the crooked creek. 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 All right, now we've got the naked mic. There's no wind protection. You might hear a little bit of noise bumping up against the mic. You might hear some of the elements a little bit more, but you might also get the clearest sound from my actual voice. The director jumps over the crooked creek. 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 Notice how the clarity of my voice against the background sounds has less to do with the actual wind protection and more to do with our mic choice and then the technique that he uses. When you have a blimp on or off, you still have to point your microphone in the best spot and away from the noise. The director jumps over the crooked creek. 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 The director jumps over the crooked creek.
There's so much wind in that one.
Yeah. Okay, so hopefully you could hear all the different elements and how they each have a piece of the puzzle to get a good sound. There was one more thing I wanted to point out. At some points in the video, I cut to the lav sound. For that, I'm recording internally to the deity Theos with the WLav Pro and then an Ursa foamy connected to the end. Then I take like a little sticky, put it under my shirt and stick it on. The foamy helps make sure that you're not gonna get all the rubbing from my shirt, but then it also does help a little bit with wind noise as well. So lavs are awesome. We all love lavs, especially for a big wide shot like that one. They're usually a pretty decent bet, but you always want to make sure you consider them as your backup option. A good boom mic is always going to sound the best, the clearest, and the most natural. You don't always want to block out all the sound, you just want to fight against it enough so that you feel like you're in the room. Right now we're using a pencil condenser mic above me, and it sounds like I'm in the room that I'm in. I'm not going to try to cut out any of the extra noise because it sounds good. If you want something to sound filmic or real, you want to use boom mics first and lavs second.